I'll be the same when it all goes up. I'll be the same when it all goes down. Not the first one open it up. I'll be the last one closing it out. Don't know if I give you a shot yet. Little mama, I'm beating your style. Do I think you don't put it up yet? Run away and find it out. Don't say you can't let me go. Don't get afraid, I'm like wow. Really want it, I'll hit the toe. Right then, she gon' let it out. Give it later, hours, let's go. I don't worry anyhow. Why don't we see where it goes? Let's figure it out. When the cats come out, the pants come out the way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
The dawn is here, we gon' be on your way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
When the cats come out, the pants come out the way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
The dawn is here, we gon' be on your way. Yeah.
In the morning after dark. I got a little secret for ya. I never sleep when it comes to night, but every time I snap my fingers, I switch back into the light. My moon belongs to your sun. Your fire is burning my mind. Is it love or is it lust? Something that I just can't describe. Am I the one and only? 'Cause you're the only one. It felt so long and lonely, waiting for you to come. It's looking bright and early. I'm willing to close my eyes. This is the unusual story. Symbol is so shy.
When the cats come out, the pants come out the way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
The dawn is here, we gon' be on your way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
When the cats come out, the pants come out the way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
The dawn is here, we gon' be on your way. Yeah.
In the morning after dark.
Go, Nelly.
I need somebody in bed. I don't like sleeping alone, so come and pick me up as soon as you put down the phone. I wanna get in the shower. Later you'll carry me home. I wanna go undercover. I just wanna rattle your bones. Yes, I'm the one and only, but I'm not the only one. So let's work overtime on the ship that ends with the sun. Maybe we can start a riot. Maybe we can run this town. Maybe I'll be your vampire. We can figure it out.
When the cats come out, the pants come out the way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
The dawn is here, we gon'
In the morning after.
When the cats come out, the pants come out the way. Yeah.
In the morning after.
The dawn is here, we gon' be on your way. Yeah.
In the morning after dark. In the morning after dark. In the morning after dark. In the morning after dark.